Hello, welcome to the video for the Civil3D Find application by Red Transit Consultants LLC. This app will allow you to do a find and replace on Civil3D objects, names and descriptions. This app requires a number of things initially to make it run more smoothly, and that's a standardized naming convention for different objects within Civil3D. This is something that you may need to adopt in time, but it does allow for finding objects faster in the drawings and whatnot. So if you look in this drawing, you'll see that I have a number of surfaces in here dealing with access roads. We've graded all these access roads into one file, so we have begins and ends of access roads, we have corridors of access roads, and then we also have a compiled surface that basically pastes in the corridor and the ends of the access roads into one surface. So the name of the access road is placed into each of the surface objects. Same goes with the alignments. You can see each alignment is named appropriately with the different access road that we're dealing with. And if we expand the first one, that access road would have an access road profile as our proposed, and then we would also have profile views associated to that. Under corridors, you would have your access road corridor, and then we saw our corridor surface with the same name, and then we set it up with assemblies for each access road that were named accordingly for the access roads. In this way, if a client asked to make some changes to an access road width, you could easily do that and not worry about adjusting the other access roads. And then in going through and changing a road name, let's say if you wanted to change access road 1 to access road 50, you have a lot of objects here to have to go through and make that change. And that can be quite time consuming to go through each one of these objects and change the object name in the properties in here. Same goes if you wanted to update descriptions accordingly. There's really no way to do that currently in the software. So this app allows you to do that. So what we'll do at this point is I'm going to open up the command. So here's our initial dialog. A few things to keep in mind here. The first box here is find what. So you're dealing with what are you looking for, what do you want to replace it with. You can match case if you're looking to find a little bit better way of searching. And then you have object types. Which types of objects do you want to look for? You can check and uncheck these based on what you're looking for. In most cases I'll just typically leave these set, but I did give the control there to be able to find those. And then what do you want to end up replacing, the object name or the object description? So you're finding a search based on the object name or the object description and replacing on that same solution. The left pane is objects found in your drawing, and the right pane would be once they are replaced, it'll show the old objects and the new objects. There is a help menu that you can click on So in here it kind of gives you some instructions on how to use the app, what version it is, and then down in the bottom of your main dialog is kind of a prompt that will tell you what the command has actually done. So here we're going to start with access road 1, and I'm going to change it to access road 50. So if we go off of object name, I'm going to go ahead and search for all these objects, and we're going to find matches. So within a click of a button, it shows you all the objects with the name AR1 in them. So from here we can say, do I want to change all these objects, or do I want to just change some of them? You can select an object, do a control, and pick which ones you want to replace, and then hit replace, and it will only replace those objects. I'll go ahead and do that right now. So here you see that it changed the access road 1 to access road 50 for the 2 assemblies, a corridor, and profile. And the type, these little abbreviations go back to the object types up in here. It's just an abbreviated way to show what objects you're dealing with. So we've already replaced 4 of those objects. If I wanted to continue at this point, I could clear results and it would basically reset, or I could close out and I can go take a look just to show that it did make that change. There's the 2 assemblies that did change. The other 2 are still left at 1. The corridor we had changed. That one is updated. So if we get back into the command and we do access road 1 again, revise to access road 50, do a find, you'll see that their list is now shorter. So now the other thing you can do is just a shift and select all. Shift and highlight all of them. Or I also built in the option for a right click and select all, or a deselect all. So if you're just wanting to do all of them, just simply right click in here to get that menu, and it will go through and select all the objects. Replace them, and now all your objects have been replaced. A few side notes: when you're renaming objects, corridors programmatically in the API allow for the colon, but when you're doing it via through the software, you cannot replace a colon in the surface name. So that was one thing that I've had to basically strip that off for that. It will not affect your drawing as far as making those changes. It should not have any issues there. So if you have surface labels or anything like that, they'll still stay referenced to that surface. So at this point we'll go ahead and hit done. We'll take a look at the surfaces, and you'll see that everything that had access road 1 has now been changed to access road 50. If we look at the profiles, access road 50, the profile view, access road 50. So it's really a nice tool to save time in doing that. If we wanted to work with descriptions, I could say find everything that's blank and replace it with you know, this. I could say completed. And there's some characters that you cannot enter in for naming, so that's what that dialog was. If you try to enter in certain characters, it will not allow that. So replace with completed, we'll say 11, 26, 12, and we'll go object description. So it's going to find all descriptions that are blank. Nothing defined. So let's search for everything that says description. Go find. So there, everything that says description there, it pulls in. And I can say completed 1126, so I could quickly apply a description to all my objects if I wanted to. I could say select all and replace. And notice that the names do not change, but the descriptions do. And down here it tells you 19 objects descriptions have been revised. One other note down here, grading groups, notice they are not up in here. So if you have grading groups in your surfaces, those are not exposed in the API to make changes to. So that is one object that you will have to do manually still. So if we jump in and take a look at objects that had a description, that one had a blank. I think if I get into one of these surfaces, yeah, so the surface now has the completed. So that's basically the app and how it works. For the most part, everything works very solid. Haven't really noticed anything too crazy with it. Again, the grading groups do not change, but you know, if you make the purchase and you run into issues, just feel free to email me, and I will get on it and get things updated and get a new version back out. So feel free to leave me any reviews. Appreciate your time watching. Thanks.